I renamed my nephew the day I got custody. His dad named him after the strip club where his mom used to dance. My brother Ronnie got arrested when his son was 4 months old. Guns, fentanyl, and a robbery that put a gas station clerk in the hospital. They gave him 18 years. I was 26, working nights at a hospital front desk, living in a studio with a fold-out couch, and zero experience with babies. But nobody else stepped up. Our parents said they were too old. Our older brother lives in Georgia and stopped answering after the second call. So I took him because the only other door was foster care. The baby's name was Roxy, spelled just like the club. Ronnie thought it was the funniest thing he'd ever done. He had backup names too. Blaze with a Y, King Deuce, Diesel Ray. I didn't plan on changing it at first. I was too busy learning how to warm a bottle at 3 a.m. But every time I said that name at the clinic or the pharmacy, people gave me this look, half confusion and half pity, that made my ears go hot. When he turned 2, my parents started coming around because my mom had retired and suddenly had free afternoons. They'd bring one dollar store truck and a list of everything I was doing wrong. The studio was too cramped. I worked too much. I let him watch too much TV, except when I asked them to watch him so I could pick up a weekend shift. Then my dad's heart was acting up. My mom had her prayer group. They wanted the birthday photos, not the fevers. I filed for adoption when he was 3, because I needed legal ground to stand on. Ronnie never contested it, never even signed the response the court mailed him. I changed the name during the adoption. Roxy became Rowan, a name that wouldn't be a punchline on a class roster for the rest of his life. My parents found out through Ronnie, who must have gotten the paperwork in his cell. They showed up unannounced on a Sunday, pounding on my door while Rowan was eating dry cereal off his high chair tray. My mom was already sobbing, said I'd erased their grandson, wiped out who he was. My dad stood behind her with his arms folded. I asked them where they were the nights I was pacing a colicky baby at 2 a.m. when daycare was $900 a month and I was splitting one meal into 2. They said family helps family, that I should have come to them. I had come to them over and over that first year. They were always busy. My mom said I had no right to change his name without asking her, that Ronnie picked it with love. I laughed, because I'd seen the text Ronnie sent our older brother the week before he got locked up, bragging that the name was so trashy the kid would have his stage name ready before kindergarten, calling his own son a joke. My dad told me I was disrespectful, that I was kicking Ronnie while he was down. 2 weeks later, a letter came from the prison. Ronnie's handwriting, all capitals, pressed so hard, it tore the page in places. He called me everything imaginable. The worst one started with a B, said I stole his son, and the day he walked out, he'd take Rowan back, and I'd be sorry I was ever born. I put that letter in the folder with the adoption decree. My parents started calling every single day after that. My mom cried into the voicemail. My dad threatened to get a lawyer, even though 3 of them had already told him he had nothing. Last month, they showed up again. My mom shoved past me into the apartment and started calling out for Roxy, using that name on purpose, loud, over and over. Rowan looked up from his dinosaurs, confused, not knowing who she meant. My dad said they'd been patient long enough, that they wanted every other weekend and every holiday. I asked him where that energy was 4 years ago. My mom said people make mistakes, that family deserves a second chance. I told them the adoption was finalized 2 years ago, that Rowan was my son, not their grandson, mine. I told them Ronnie made his choices and I made mine, and my choice was keeping my kid away from people who only ever showed up to take something. I told them to get out. My mom cried harder. My dad raised his voice, said I was selfish, said I'd regret this someday. I shut the door in the middle of his sentence and turned the lock. Rowan asked me who those people were. I told him nobody, just some people I used to know. He shrugged and went back to lining up his dinosaurs. They left 7 voicemails that night. I blocked both numbers before I went to bed.